Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name's Farah Halaby and I'm a professional Muslim life coach, and I've been doing a lot of thinking today. I suppose it's no different from any other day, but specifically today and specifically about this this topic. So I'd like you to imagine, if you will, you wake up one morning after being you know, forever. You've been you every day of your life. And you wake up one morning and you're a Muslim woman of a certain age. You have a life that's well established. You have a family. You have a career, a profession. You have a home. You kind of, you know who you are in the world. You know that when you get up, you've got your routine all planned out. But yet on this day, after having woken up every day up until that day as you, but this day you wake up and you feel different. You're not so sure of the day ahead. You've got this little niggling doubt at the back of your mind, this niggling little thought that's, what am I doing? What am I doing today? Do I really want to be doing whatever it is that you usually do that day? And why? Why am I going to get up and get ready and put on my work clothes or put on that specific outfit? Why do I drink tea in the morning? Why don't I drink coffee? What's my overriding reason for doing what I've got planned for today? Do I really want to do it? What if I did something else? Do I really want to go and see that person today? Do I really want to be cooking what I have planned, for this evening? Do I want to be going into the office? Do I want to be doing the job that I'm doing? Do I really want to be making whatever it is that you're going to be making for breakfast? Do I want to be me today? Do I want to run today like yesterday and the day before and the day before that? Why am I planning to do what I'm doing today? And I appreciate that there's lots of questions there, but have you imagine that this is you? You might have done it already, I don't know, but imagine that you wake up one day and you're questioning your life. You're questioning not only the things within your life, the habits, the routine of your life. You're questioning the you living that life. Do I want to be that person? Am I that person? Who am I? Do you know what? Today, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do whatever it is that this entails. But why don't I? Why have I woken up today and thought, not sure I'm up for it today. Not sure I'm up for this routine, this habit. How did this even come about? How did I get from years, months, chapters, stories, lifetimes, relationships ago to today? Do I even want to carry on the way I'm going? But if I don't, what will I do? If I don't do today as planned, as it was done yesterday, what would I do with myself? What do I want to do? Don't know. Don't think I've ever asked myself that question. And again, I appreciate lots more questions, but I was having a conversation with someone about all of those questions, that something just clicked, and suddenly it was, clicked for her, and it was questioning why she does what she does. How did she even get there? Does she even like it? Or does she just feel that this is the way things are? And there were a lot more questions that came up when she just asked herself that one first initial question, why? And then it unravelled a lot of other whys, whats. Should I? Do I want to? How comes that happens? Why don't I say yes? Why don't I say no? Why am I even asked? And again, lots more questions, but from the original, why? Why am I doing this today? Do I even want to? And subhanAllah, that led on to a fascinating conversation. But I speak to so many women that have that almost light bulb moment, but in reverse. Usually the light bulb moment is this massive, insight into the mysteries of life. You think of an insight, you think of a light bulb going off, and there's more of a solution. You think about someone who's come up with the answer. But it was almost, she described it as a flick of a switch. So I don't know if a light went on or went out, but something changed when she asked herself one question, why? Which led to a lot of questioning about her life, her values, her relationships, her choices, and being in a certain place in her life where she felt, I don't have to do that if I don't want to, but I've never questioned whether I do want to. I've just got on with it and done it. I've never really stopped to think, is this the way that I want my life to be? But now that I'm, almost scratching, I've scratched that scab, I've picked at it a little bit. There's more under there. There's more, I'm not saying you should go and pick your scabs, but once she'd started that train of thought, it just led to more and more questions, and those questions led to more and more overwhelm. And so in an innocent conversation that just started off with, how's it going? It was, subhanAllah, it was quite amazing what comes up in a space where you give someone a listening ear without judgment, without without looking for a pause to fill that gap with an answer. All the questions that she was asking, they were rhetorical. They weren't, in that moment, there wasn't a real kind of, well, why do I do that? It wasn't really wanting to know at that point. It was still that she was in the whole mindset of the questioning. It was like there was this awakening that was happening. And by witnessing it, and just through the medium of a cup of tea and a lovely chat, subhanAllah, something quite amazing transpired. And I find that with a lot of women who are at various different stages in their lives, whether it be ages or relationship stages, or the levels where they are in their career, where they are in terms of their financial standing, their familial standing, whether on children or grandchildren, or younger kids, older kids, or no kids, or even like marriage to marriage, or single, divorced, whatever stage they're at, there is this moment that for the women that I work with, they have had that light bulb, or that flick of a switch, if you like, that just leads them to think about that, the power of choice that they have in their lives. Are they doing what are they making empowered choices every day, or are they just following the norm? Has life become autopilot living for them? Has life just become this, this record almost that you put on and it's scratched and it just repeats and repeats and repeats? Or is it a case where there is something within them that is calling from their innate fitra? Because if you've heard any of the talks that I've done, if you've listened to any of my lives, I bang on about choice quite a lot, because this power, the gift of free will, the power to make decisions, to choose, to have an impact, to be able to affect, to be able to decide what you do in life, how you live your life, what you think, your opinions. We were given that by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is what elevates us above all his other creations. And we don't do very well when our choices are restricted, when our choices are boxed in, when we operate from a place of have to, can't see any choice other than to. It's expected of. It's just the way it is. We don't do very well when we do feel boxed in. But for some of us, we don't even realise that that's what's happening. It's just, you kind of go along with life. And it's only when things are maybe, things could be ticking along nicely. I mean, subhanAllah, she is, mashallah, very successful in her profession, has a lovely home, wonderful children, mashallah, really, really doing well. But, and this is not to say that she's not doing well up here, but there is that question for her. Who is she? Who is she when she's, in those relationships? How does she show up in the various different, parts of her life? Does she want to show up in those areas of her life in the way that she's doing, or at all? For some of us, we don't even think about the choices that we have to either engage or not engage. And this is not anything about maintaining ties of kinship. It's not that at all. There are the blessings and the wisdom in maintaining ties of kinship, absolutely. But those maintaining of ties are not the ties that shackle you. They're flexible. They allow you to be the way that you want to be within those relationships. They're not, tying you together like, with your hands behind your back. It's I don't know if you've ever seen, if you've had young children, ever seen almost like it's like a doggy lead, but for kids. You have them on a little, not on a leash, but on a lead, and they're flexible, so they're elasticated, so that you can, you've still effectively got a little bit of a hold on your child, but they have the freedom to kind of go a little bit further, just like with dogs and cats. I'm not saying that you take your kids on walks and you treat them like animals. No, it's not that at all. But they're not tied. They're not shackled. It's not rigid. There's a flexibility where they can go off, but you've still got that level of security, and can still keep an eye on them. But maintaining the ties of kinship, it is maintaining healthy, flexible parameters of being able to show up in that relationship in a way that serves you and in a way that serves the other person, in a way that you are giving of yourself the way that you want. You are able to be with that person in the way that doesn't deplete you, doesn't demean you, and doesn't reduce you. It's the opposite. It energizes you, it powers you, it helps you, be who you want to be. It's an extension of you being able to show up in everyday life, not on autopilot, but in the moment, in the way that you want, relating, connecting, and really doing it from a place of choice rather than obligation. And again, if you've listened to anything I've said, subhanAllah, we again, when we do something out of obligation, when we do something out of choice, the level of energy that we bring to that same thing is going to be vastly different. Once you take away, or you impact, or you restrict someone's ability to choose, someone's free will, the way in which they show up is going to be infinitely impacted. So just going back to, imagine you wake up one day and you question not only who you are, but you question your whole life. How would that feel for you if you were to question your whole life and you wonder, who am I? What have I been doing all this time? What have I contributed? What have I given? What have I had given to me? What have I received? What have I done? How have I shown up in those relationships? How have I been true to myself in those relationships? Have I allowed certain things to happen that, you know, I didn't want to happen? Or have I done things? Or have I behaved in a way? Again, lots and lots of questions. But imagine you did that tomorrow. You wake up and you question your whole entire existence. How do you think that would make you feel? I'm going to go out on a limb and say it might be a little bit overwhelming, a bit, dare I say, maybe a bit scary. It might be very freeing. It might be the start of being able to imagine your life as a blank canvas now. That you can, going forward, actually conscientiously decide what you're doing that day, what you're doing that week, what you're doing that month, what you do, you know, every day for the next year, every day for the next however many years, every day for the rest of your life. But that you have that choice. For some, it might be a thought that they try and push away, that they try and put back in the box. It's too much. It's too much to even contemplate. Even if they don't particularly enjoy how things are going, it's known. To actually think of how different things could be. I used this example in the conversation today, and you've probably heard this lots of times off of me anyway, but I will use it again. If you were to go into a shop that sold every single flavour of ice cream ever made in the world, every single flavour from all over the world, and you had to go in and you had to decide what to buy, how would you choose? How easy would it be to decide? Bearing in mind that you've probably not heard of every single flavour of ice cream. And this is going on the proviso or the assumption that you actually love ice cream. I should say, if you don't like ice cream, then it's a no-brainer. But if you absolutely loved ice cream, really, you know, it's your thing, it's your go-to lovely dessert, and you go in and there's a new shop that's opened and it says it sells every single flavour of ice cream from all over the world ever created. And you go in and you've got a limited amount of money and you have to choose. How would you choose? How would you make that choice? What would you go to? How would you make that decision? Because you don't know what's there. But would that excite you? Would it overwhelm you? Would it be too much of a choice and you just said, no, can't do it. So I'm just going to go next door and go and have a donut. Or just think, stuff this, I don't want any ice cream at all. It's just too much choice. Now, you probably didn't think at this time of the evening on a Monday that I'd be talking to you about ice cream and that you'd have to be contemplating this. But what would you do? Has this happened to you? Not the ice cream, but have you woken up or have you had that moment where you question and you wonder, who am I? What am I doing here? What does my life mean? Do I want this? Do I enjoy this? Do I want to do this? Do I want to go there? Do I have the choice? When you ask yourself those questions, how does it feel just to be able to ask yourself? How does it feel to even be able to think about it, to be to contemplate it? Because for a lot of us, life may be autopilot. It might be just, Groundhog Day sometimes. Got to Monday evening already. It feels like it was only Monday, like yesterday. Back to the Monday grind, whatever that is. The same old. Spanner, today has not been the same old for me by any means. I've had my 3 youngest off school, unwell, and the full day of coaching and various different other meetings, business oriented and non, and the various other duties that and things that I wanted to get done today. SubhanAllah, it's been a bit of a juggling act, bit of a trying to piece the big puzzle together, but SubhanAllah, it hasn't been the same old by any means. But there has been something quite beautiful in the unexpected nature of how today has gone, and that is riding with it and focusing on the things that I can affect, focusing on the things that I do want to do, and really having that say, that ability to steer my ship in a way that I pray is most pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That I pray that the interactions that I've had today with my kids, with my clients, with my community, with my in the business meetings I've had today, have all been from a place of service, but also showing up in the way that I want to, showing up in the way that is pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we have that just that knowledge, that more than the knowledge actually, just that premise, that right, really stepping into that right that we all have. And as we know, with those rights, with power comes great responsibility. I know I'm channeling my inner Spider-Man here, but it does. But when you understand that for yourself and the questions come thick and fast, what would it mean for you to be able to safely, manageably, that's a word, in a confidential, non-judgmental space with a very clear pathway of how to navigate all of that thinking, all of those questions, and bring it to a way of, taking it step by step, bit by bit, day by day, so that you are on board, collaborating in the process, at the meeting table, involved, impacting, creating the decisions that have the impact on how you show up in life, how you can create a life that you want, to live a life that you love, not autopilot living, not same old, not just doing stuff because it's expected. Not saying that there are certain expectations that we don't need to fulfill, absolutely, but when we do the things that we think we have to, but do them from a place of wanting to, again, that energy that you bring is going to be so different. So how would it feel for you to have that support, to have that space to make sense of who you are, where you want to be, how you can get there, but actually what there is, like what there looks like, what is there? Because you have the choice. You have the choice. You can create, if you can think it, you can create it, you can be it, and you can live it. And that is the most beautiful thing I am grateful for to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this beautiful gift of the power of just being able to think, to be able to create, the ability to steer my ship, to go through this life. Yes, with everything that is thrown at you, but in a way that is mine, that is unique and bespoke to me, knowing 100% Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has got me, and that is my ibadah, that is my personal ibadah, because no one can worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for me, no one can live this life for me, no one can relate to my kids for me, no one can relate to my parents, no one can run my business. Well, I could get someone, I guess, but they still wouldn't be able to do it like me, because they're not me. So if you have woken up, or if you had that switch and you think, don't know who I am, what I'm doing here, it's just all a bit overwhelming, or actually I don't know what to do with all of this choice, and you want a real pathway, a process to help you understand who you are, how you work, what is going on for you, to make sense of all of that overwhelm in a way that your life and your connection and your purpose and your experience is all channeled to using everything in life that you want to be able to live a life that's pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that will make this life absolutely smashing, but that will get you to the best place in the akhirah. Then let's have a conversation. I can offer you that space to really help you understand all of that. And together I think that we might just be able to create something quite amazing. So if you'd like to know how, as you know, my name is Farah Halaby. I'm a professional Muslim life coach, and you can contact me either via email at connect@farahhalaby.com, or you can private message me on whichever social media platform you're watching me on right now. But let's have a real conversation in a very confidential, safe, professional setting to help you really just begin that pathway, begin the work, begin the process, be open to it, to creating the life that you want, to live a life you love. Inshallah, I pray that you are safe, well, happy and healthy. And as always, I look forward to speaking with you again. But for now, take care. Assalamu alaikum.